Hey friends, welcome back to Zen's Corner. My name is Zen, and today we're going to talk about the history of Pelle Pelle. Hip-hop has always been more than music. Identity, it's movement, it's community, it's love, and just as important, it's fashion. Without some of the pioneers that we've had in the early hip-hop movement days, hip-hop would not have the same visual identity that it has today, which is why today we're going to be talking about one of the most important brands at the time, Pelle Pelle. So let's bridge the gap between music and fashion, hip-hop and fashion, and talk about how they helped each other out. This is a story on how a Detroit leather jacket became a fashion hip-hop symbol. Shared DNA, hip-hop and fashion, section 1. So hip-hop emerged in the late 70s and 80s as a collective culture. MCs, DJs, breakdancers, graffiti writers, designers, tailors, all moving together as one community, as one unit, but of all different, of course. The music was layered with soul, blues, and gospel samples, but the sound was incomplete without the look. Fashion in hip-hop was bold, expressive, and rooted in community. It told stories of aspiration, survival, creativity, and status. And from that ecosystem came the brands that didn't just sell clothes, but they sold a visual identity. Section 2. The birth of Pelle Pelle. So Pelle Pelle was founded in 1978 by Mark Buchan in Detroit. It started small. At first, custom leather jackets made for himself and his friends, people in his circle, right? But those jackets stood out, baby. They were gaudy. They were blinged out. They were two-tone. They were color blocked. Like, if I saw this jacket on some other people and I couldn't buy it, yeah, I'm gonna ask, how can I get that? For sure. They had baggy silhouettes, heavy leather, bold embroidery, rhinestones spelling out Pelle Pelle, which is Italian for leather, leather. It was luxury meets street, meets culture, meets hip-hop, meets actual communities and areas in Detroit, that contribute to the culture that is being built right now, It was flashy, it was unapologetic, confident, and it was everything that hip-hop embodied in its early days. Section 3. Status, leather, and identity. By the 1980s, Pelle Pelle wasn't just clothing, it was status, okay? If you had one of these jackets, you were him, you were her, you were them, you were it, okay? Leather and fur at that time in the 80s symbolized wealth. Owning a Pelle Pelle jacket mean that you hit the scene, all right? What made the jackets more powerful was the personalization, the names, the phrases, the custom designs stitched across the back. Each jacket became a walking billboard of identity. Mark Buchan, I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly, sir. You've done so much. I hope I'm not butchering that. That was my moment of silence as an apology. Now we proceed. Mark Buchan intentionally marketed directly to the urban community. No department stores, no dilution. Inspired by the 1940s pattern books and hand-drawing designs, Buchan avoided the trends like the thriller-style jacket flooding the market. Detroit legends helped cement the brand locally, from Donna Sachs retailer Marvin Manser to boxing icon Tommy the Hitman Hers. Pelle Pelle was for the people. And I think when we talk about hip-hop and the importance of community, the importance of the fact that hip-hop has not stayed gate-kept in a way, and that's a topic for another video, but the fact that early on, this man from Detroit who created a leather brand, leather jackets, the name is Italian, and he's like, I'm making this for my community. I'm not a sellout. I'm selling it directly to them. I'm making it personal to everyone. Like, amazing come up story. All right, section 5, decline and hiatus. Now, in the early 2000s, hip hop and music's influence on fashion completely exploded. We had Rockaware, we had Sean John. I know. So many other brands, right? And hip hop fashion, the hip hop and fashion community became oversaturated. Pelle Pelle's refusal to mass produce or sell through department stores, which was once its strength, now limited its ability to access and to reach certain people. Now, in the 2000s, I grew up in New York in the 2000s, so I for sure saw Rockaware, Sean John, Darion, all of those brands out and about. I had some of it myself. So, that was super accessible to see. Like, I saw my mom shop for it. It was easy to get. It was accessible. It wasn't something that was highly produced in a way that there was limited quantity, if you know what I mean. So, at first, the 80s, and when Mark is making these jackets, of course, it can be in limited quantity because he is the number one supplier. But now in the 2000s, he's not the only supplier. So his limited quantity, it starts to be forgotten about because the other companies, the other artists, these other hip-hop, these people who are actually in hip-hop, who have created these fashion brands, who've made that step over, are dominating the industry at the time. So there's definitely naturally going to be a little decline strictly off of production process, Styles shifted for them, endorsements slowed, and eventually in 2018, Pelle Pelle entered a hiatus. Now, fashion is completely cyclical. Whenever things are out of style, they become back in style. It's 2026, everyone wants to dress like it's 2016. So it's only natural that Pelle Pelle would have some sort of resurgence, some sort of comeback. So fashion never disappears, it just waits, guys. In 2015, A$AP Rocky and A$AP Ferg brought Pelle Pelle back into the spotlight. Their styling reintroduced the jackets to a new generation. Then came the moment that bridged eras. In 2021, Pelle Pelle collaborated with Playboi Carti, a limited edition jacket tied to Carti's avant-garde visual world. It wasn't nostalgia, it was evolution. Carti's influence encouraged risk, drama, and high fashion chaos. Exactly what Pelle Pelle was built on. Now here's what I think is cool about this. Earlier we talked about the 90s artists like Jay-Z, Lil Kim, DMX, B.I.G, who had their foot in fashion for sure and who moved the needle in their own way. It's still happening today. Whether you like Playboi Carti or not, whether you like his form of hip-hop or not, it cannot be denied that his visual appearance has moved the needle in fashion. Playboi Carti doing a collab with the iconic leather company Pelle Pelle, a company who made custom jackets for hip-hop artists in the golden era, making a collab with Playboi Carti, who's in leather down all the time. How is that not perfect? That is the perfect collab to me. It's modern. It's an artist who isn't super preachy hip-hop, but he also isn't super, I don't know, it's fun. It doesn't have to be so heavy. It doesn't have to be so dramatic hip-hop rules gatekeeping. It could just be a rock star artist who happens to be a hip-hop artist, who likes wearing leather pants, who has a lot of influence who has just a lot of influence. If you look at anything, whatnot, who listens to Playboi Carti, maybe of a certain age demographic, all of the boys are in leather now. All of the boys are in leather. All of them are wearing black. I kind of went off on a tangent, but I meant it. All of the boys are in leather, and I genuinely can attribute it to Playboi Carti, to the trendiness of being edgy right now. You know, there's a lot of copycats right now of him. But the fact that Pelle Pelle saw that influence, acknowledged his whole like visual change that came with the whole vamp era, that was the smartest marketing ever. Like, if I was on the Pelle Pelle team and I was the person who was like, maybe we should do a collab with Playboi Carti, and I was in that room clapping, I would have started clapping if I didn't come up with the idea myself. Okay, that's enough of that. Let's move on. When you're a fashion house who doesn't care about so much quantity being put out, you really care about the quality and who really is in these jackets, I think you could take your time. I think it's okay to take your time. I think any art, designer, anything is okay to take your time, as long as you're making sure you're working. Not working, but absorbing things to come back better. Pelle Pelle may not dominate the charts or the streets the way it once did, but their legacy is absolutely permanent, built from community, by community, powered by originality, worn by icons, okay? Pelle Pelle stands as a historic pedestal piece of hip-hop, a symbol of Black culture, music, and fashion, moving in sync. And no matter how many times trends change, that legacy will never be erased. Pelle Pelle's impact will never be erased in the sphere of hip-hop. If you enjoyed this breakdown, if you like Pelle Pelle, if you are a little older than me and you bought Pelle Pelle, if you have a Pelle Pelle collection, let someone know. Talk to us in the comments. This has been fun. Thank you guys for tapping in. I'm not wearing Pelle Pelle today. I think this is just, I don't know, it's just a racer like leather jacket. It's pretty nice. I like it. Vintage. Anyway, maybe I'll find me a Pelle Pelle soon, but till then, thank you guys for watching. Tune back in or don't. I don't know what you be doing. Thanks. See you guys later. Peace.